If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. So I found this YouTube channel called Priesthood Men or something on TikTok. And it's a Mormon TikTok account. Just give it a listen.
What if baptism for the dead is actually quantum physics? Most think it's just a ritual, but if time isn't linear, baptism might just be a checkpoint, a way for a soul to step back into their timeline and experience it. It's not just tradition, it's metaphysical. Tag someone who loves when science and faith collide. Let's go, Twain.
Okay, I don't know who this Twain fellow is or why we're cheering for him, but this bit that he said here about time being linear.
But if time isn't linear...
Time is linear. I don't know what gave you the idea time is not linear. It is linear. However, you can go backward and forward in time, theoretically, depending on like your speed or, you know, your movement speed or whatever other thing. But by the way, what does that have to do with quantum physics? How did that get thrown in here exactly?
He just has a lot of buzzwords and people don't take the time to figure out what these buzzwords mean.
I know a pretty good bit about physics.
Theoretically, we can go backwards in time, but we can go forwards in time technically. If you're in space, you just age slower.
Yeah, it's if you imagine a two-dimensional graph, XY axis, and you're moving north or up the y-axis at 100 miles an hour, right? Your horizontal movement is 0. Your vertical movement is 100. If you move diagonally, you are now moving 50 miles an hour horizontally and 50 miles an hour vertically, right? But you're moving 100 miles an hour total. It works the same way with time, as time is the fourth dimension. So we have 3 spatial dimensions, and then the fourth dimension is time. So our forward momentum through space changes our movement through time, basically. The faster we move through space, the slower we move through time in the same way. Anyway, God, this one is actually, I got some zingers on this TikTok account. Let's just look at a couple more of these. Okay, I want to come back to this one. This one is not related to the YouTube channel. Check this out.
Listen up, Exmos. Since you want to flood my page with comments,
He's complaining about ex-Mormons.
I'll make this statement. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the only true and living church on the face of the whole earth. And the only church...
Listen to this stupid music in the background, bro.
I love it, actually. I think it adds to the ambiance.
Okay.
Church on the face of the whole earth. And the only church with the authority necessary to perform saving ordinances required for one's exaltation. Now, I recognize...
So he's saying he thinks the Mormon Church is the only organization on the face of the earth with the right to perform ordinances that will get you into heaven, okay?
This is a bold statement.
Yeah, it's a bold statement.
Yet I offer no apologies because I'm not telling you about something that I read in a book. I'm talking about my life.
But you literally are talking about what's in a book.
My own personal experience with Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of the Father. And so, although
Did he come down and tell you all of this?
Yeah,
you may
he's over here pleasuring Jesus like a young man should.
Son of the Father. And so, although you may be able to dispute historical, records,
Even though we can dispute historical records?
you cannot tell me what I know. I claim the privilege of worshiping Almighty God according to the dictates of my own conscience, and I allow all men and women the same privilege. Let them worship when, where, and what they may. You will not find me commenting on an anti-Mormon post about how the church is true. I stay in my lane. Stay in your lane. I'm a different breed.
Okay.
He's
yes,
a different breed, guys.
Definitely different breed for sure. I'll give you that one. So we're supposed to stay in our lane. I'm not an ex-Mormon, but I guess he categorizes me the same. I shouldn't be coming to Mormon posts and talking smack about them, you see. Since we're talking about Mormons, check this out. Some dudes went to BYU, I think BYU,
Yeah, BYU.
the Mormon college, to interview people.
I love these
All right,
interviews.
so I'm going to say a quote. The quote is, "Negroes are not equal to other races." Now, who do you think said that? Apostle Bruce R. McConkie or German leader Adolf Hitler?
I would guess German leader Adolf Hitler.
You would be incorrect. It was
his face.
Oh, this poor dude.
Apostle Bruce R. McConkie.
Well,
It's got to be Apostle.
Wow.
Because, yeah.
final guess.
I really like her sweater. Sorry.
Also, she seems to know that they said some pretty bad stuff before.
Yeah, she said it's got to be an apostle.
Listen to her reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Final guess.
Apostle. I'm going to guess Bruce R. McConkie.
You would be correct.
That's insane.
Yeah, you know, there's like a Mormon look, right? You can see the Mormon look. You got the skirt hiked up to just under your boobs here, and you got the stripe pattern and the frumpy shirt and everything. It screams Mormon.
Jehovah's Witnesses used to have a similar style where all of the women are wearing like super long skirts and like long sleeve, whatever.
Yeah, they're allowing women to wear pants now at the
Yeah.
meetings, though.
Changed recently. Unfortunately, now it's more difficult to spot a Jehovah's Witness.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Reality.
I would hope not the Apostle.
But she knows.
She said, but.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to go with Hitler.
Unfortunately, it was not. It was Bruce R. McConkie. He's the one who said that.
Yeah.
Probably Bruce R. McConkie.
You'd probably be correct. That is right. A good old apostle.
Why was the dude like smiling like an idiot through all of that? I wonder. Like he doesn't see anything wrong with that. Are they not connecting the dots here?
I don't know that one.
Really? You don't know? Really?
Could have made a guess.
First time you've ever heard this before. Okay.
I feel like you'd want to say that it's Hitler, but I don't know.
I know that's yeah. Can an answer be I don't know, or do we need to choose?
I want you to give an answer. Who do you think said it?
I'll still say Hitler.
Really?
You too, Hitler?
Sure.
Okay, well, unfortunately you'd be incorrect. It's Apostle Bruce R. McConkie.
These people are embarrassing. Like, I don't understand how they're still a part of this movement. Was it ordained by God or not? Did it have God's backing at the time when he said that stuff or not? If it didn't have God's backing, then why would you think it has God's backing today?
It goes in a loop. It's exactly the same as like anything else. The God in the Old Testament, he's a vengeful, non-merciful, and evil God, but he has to be the same God as the New Testament.
And by the way, I wonder how they feel about the book titled Mormonism and the Negro by John J. Stewart, 1960. That was a Mormon book that you can look up today and read if you would like. And it basically said black people have the curse of Ham, and that their skin is black because they have the curse of Ham. And God is punishing them, basically. If you don't know the story, Ham, it was like the guy that, it was Noah's son after the flood. Noah got like super drunk and was stark naked as a lark, as my mom would say, laying in his tent. And Ham walked in and saw his dad just sitting there with the twig and berries hanging out. And he turned around and left and told his siblings, oh my God, Dad's in there and he's naked as a lark in there. And his brothers like walked in backward holding a blanket and covered him up without looking. But because Ham saw his dad naked, that was enough to curse an entire lineage of people, and those people are now black. So
on
anyway.
accident?
Yeah.
This all happened on accident.
Yep.
God was like, wow, you gotta have a curse.
Very loving, huh? Anyway. Yeah, so the point is, that wasn't from the TikTok channel. I just decided to go looking in some other TikTok stuff. It seems
deep dive.
kind of interesting, yeah. But I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this TikTok channel. Let me know what you think in the comments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. I'm kind of going on a series right now where I talk about MAGA dummies. Check this out.
Guess what, liberals?
Yes?
I'm at a Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah? What you having?
I'm gonna have chips and salsa.
That sounds very bland.
And freak out.
You know?
Like, anybody cares if this dude eats chips and salsa at, like, a Mexican restaurant. I have to say, it's kind of absurd and messed up for you to want to exile all Mexican people from the country and then go eat at Mexican restaurants. There's a degree of hypocrisy I can't even touch there, but okay.
And freak out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do that bit.
It's so ridiculous and sad, man.
I feel like I'm going to stay relatively calm. Anything else?
You know, I can't believe this happened.
What happened?
You people.
You talking to me? I just got here.
Messaging my freaking employer.
Someone forgot this was a public forum, huh? And free speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences? I feel like I know where this is going.
Calling him. Well, you finally did it. You got me fired.
Well, it turns out that this guy's a complete colossal scumbag. Let me write his name is, his user is Try Again Liberals 2.
Try again, liberals.
Try again, liberals. Let's find out. Let's just take a look, shall we? Hey, it's Promise. You know her?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
How?
You guys have talked about her. You and...
Yeah, I stream with her all the time.
I don't watch your streams. Sorry, guys. I don't watch your streams.
She's pretty cool. Try again, liberals.
Well, you finally did it.
Oh, that's the one. Let's find D.
Oh, he was tagged.
No way.
Huh?
Go back up.
There's no way I'm racist. Well, you
Look at the
finally
caption up at the top right.
You got.
He's tagged.
Who is?
The guy. The account.
Oh, he tagged. Oh, this is a tagged video. I see.
There's no way I'm racist. One of my favorite movies is Rocky. I mean,
God.
I agree with her.
Okay. What? The account's gone. Oh, no.
Well, you finally.
Well, I guess we have to listen to other people listening to him.
So when black people say they have black pride...
Hey, it's your bare minimum husband. Are you German, Finnish, Swedish, Polish? What is your heritage other than your skin color? Answer that and I'll hit you back.
So when black people say they have...
Oh, that was short. Yeah. Interesting. The point is that black people have black pride because it's a demographic in this country that's important because it's a minority group that has faced shared oppression and shared problems in history, like slavery, if nothing else, right? What shared quality do white people have in the United States? You can talk about about German pride or Irish pride, and I don't care. You can talk about Chinese pride or Japanese pride or whatever. It's completely irrelevant to me. Go nuts. Have your pride. You're talking about white pride. What is the white demographic most famous for in this country? That's the point. Anyway, this dude is just a colossal scumbag. Looks like his account doesn't exist anymore, but let's keep listening to what he said here. He got fired from his job, okay?
You got me fired.
The liberals got you fired? You sure about that? You sure it wasn't all the bigoted you've been saying in all your videos that maybe your employer doesn't want associated with him?
Hope you feel good about yourselves.
You know, well, personally, I didn't do anything to feel good or bad about, but I'm also not losing any sleep over you, if that's what you're asking.
Now, me and my pregnant wife, I don't know what we're going to do.
Maybe you should have thought about that before going on social media and parading around the fact that you are a Nazi.
He had to have known that too, because he's not the first person who has gone and said crazy stuff only to lose their job right after. He knew what he was doing. He just didn't care. He thought, oh, it won't happen to me.
Right. Okay, well, it did. Sorry.
Lost our medical. We lost everything.
Well, I'll be honest, I feel like your wife knew what she was getting herself into when she married.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Lowe's knows how to get you ready for holiday hosting with up to 35% off select home decor. And get up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, members get free delivery, haul away, basic installation, parts, and a 2-year Lowe's protection plan when you spend $2,500 or more on select LG major appliances. Valid through 10/1. Member offer excludes Massachusetts, Maryland, Wisconsin, New Jersey, and Florida. Installed by independent contractors. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
It's true.
So I don't know, maybe try to do better and not be bigots out loud online?
Because you disagree with me.
See, I feel like we're not learning the lesson here, because the lesson is don't say bigoted out loud online that your employer might not want associated with them. You get that that's the lesson, right?
No, of course he doesn't get that's the lesson.
It's not that we disagree with you and we are getting you fired because we just don't agree. First of all, that's not going to get anyone fired. Second, it's because you don't believe in basic fundamental human rights. You don't believe in equality or that people are people and we need to respect everyone. That is your fault. That's not a disagreement.
At the end of the day, we live in a society together, and your right to swing your fist ends at the tip of my nose. You can swing it anywhere you want except for right here. And what this guy is doing is swinging it at other people's faces ultimately by not just letting people live their lives and be who they are and mind your own business. Now, technically what he's doing isn't a crime, and that's okay. I believe in his right to say what he wants to say and not go to jail. I'm all in on that. But you don't have a right to work at this specific company. If they don't want to be associated with this kind of vile behavior, they don't have to. Bottom line.
He's allowed to swing his fist, but it's an issue when someone swings back.
Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
You.
No, of course you don't. But here's the good news. There are suddenly all kinds of farm jobs and day labor construction jobs and back of the house kitchen staff jobs, that were stolen from hardworking Americans like yourself. And then if you work hard and save up and save up and save up, you will have just enough money to be in a mountain of debt with the upcoming birth of your child. Because, you know, for real patriots like yourself, the system works great. So, oh, and you can change your name. Because by your own account, tried and succeeded. Okay. Don't love bigots. Bye.
Interesting. Anyway, yeah, tell me what you think about it in the comments. I love seeing somebody fall flat on their face who absolutely deserves it. There's just something very satisfying about it.
I like seeing people suffer the consequences of their actions, especially when they're mad about it, when they are upset that they faced consequences, because that means the consequences did what they were supposed to. Whether or not it taught the person a lesson, the consequences happened and the person has to deal with them.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they worked together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. This is Dusty Devers. If you don't know him, if you're unfamiliar, let me just introduce you to him because he recently said separation of church and state is blasphemous. And he's a state representative, Oklahoma representative. Listen to what he had to say. This one is from late January 2024.
Governing is about a use of authority. And what is the standard for the use of authority? And is that authority prescribed in the scriptures? And we would say, yes, God prescribes servants of his to govern as his mediators on this earth.
So what's he saying? He's saying he believes that the Bible orders him to usher in a Christian nationalist state. He believes the Bible is telling him to take control of the government on God's behalf. That's what that means.
And so he has prescribed governing, and then he has also prescribed the means for our governing. And that means is in accordance with his word. And if we do otherwise, then we are essentially usurping the sovereign rule of God through Christ, who has been seated above every power in heaven and on earth and under the earth.
It is a really good thing I don't believe in God, because this could be a really big issue for me.
This guy is really disturbing. Like, the beliefs that he holds are out of this world disturbing.
So that's our marching orders, and it's pretty straightforward as far as, if you want to talk about Christian nationalism, what we mean by a Christian nation.
There's other stuff from Dusty Devers that just came out that I want to talk about, but let's just kind of skim this article real fast. Few elected officials can match Oklahoma State Senator Dusty Devers in their desire to see the U.S. turned into a Christian nationalist theocracy. By the way, if you've ever seen The Handmaid's Tales, that's what this guy wants to create. He knows and works with Doug Wilson a lot. If you don't know him, he openly says he wants, like, The Handmaid's Tale to be a reality. He wants to eliminate Disneyland. That wouldn't exist in his ideal nation. Muslims wouldn't be allowed into the country, and the ones that live here would be forced to attend Christian church services every week, that kind of thing. They're birds of a feather, if you will. Let's continue this. Devers, a far-right pastor and unabashed Christian nationalist, and an Oklahoma state congressman as well, who wants to abolish abortion, ban no-fault divorce, outlaw...
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For JD Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Weight loss solutions are not one size fits all. Hers makes it simpler to get started and stick with a weight loss plan, backed by expert-guided online care that puts your weight loss goals first. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
And literally see this nation taken back to the 1600s, has made no secret of his belief that the fundamental purpose of government is to convert people to Jesus Christ. Given that view, it's no surprise to hear Devers declare on a recent episode of the Finding Your Spine podcast that the separation of church and state is blasphemous and that to support it is to belittle the Lord Jesus. Here's the video.
He has commissioned us to go and make disciples and baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Who is us exactly? Is that government? You think that's government? That Jesus wanted government to impose its will on people? How do you think Jesus liked the government imposing its will on him?
To make to all the nations, or to all nations. And that means that we are his human agents for extending his dominion, his rule throughout this world. And the nations will be glad through that. So to say that the church and the state are separate in their in the principle of their authority, and the principle being Jesus Christ, is, I believe, it's blasphemous to say that Jesus Christ isn't Lord of Lords and King of Kings. And that means not just over the home, not just over the church, but in every sphere. And that is to belittle the Lord Jesus. And he doesn't take it kindly when we belittle him.
So your interpretation of Jesus says that Jesus wants you to have power. Big surprise. That's what political leaders throughout history have claimed. All the way back to ancient Babylon, they claimed that the deities gave them special authority to rule. And here we are all these years later. Now, if you noticed, he said the family, the home, and the church, and the other spheres. He's referring to Seven Mountains Dominionism, or the Seven Mountains Mandate. And if you're unfamiliar with this, it's this form of dominionism that basically all Christian nationalists ascribe to now, that is dead set on controlling 7 areas of public life. They want to control the military, the economy, they want to control business, they want to have Christian nationalists at the top of business in the United States, the church, they want to have people at the top of the church, and the head of families, and I don't remember what the other mountains are, but anyway, the point is they want to control these 7 areas of society. And he thinks that if there are not Christian nationalists at the top of those, it's blasphemy. This dude is straight up broken inside. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult. And you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. Listen to this clip. This is a little bit older from him. This one is from early December 2023.
Today, I want to ask and answer the question, what must you and I do to love our IVF embryonic neighbors as ourselves?
IVF embryonic neighbors. That is an insane thing to say. Okay. So he cares about loving our neighbors when it comes to embryos, like in vitro fertilization embryos, but not gay people. Go on.
My aim today is, with our Creator's help, graciously to bring before your conscience the harsh realities of IVF, so you will respond by faith, in faith, by loving your embryonic neighbor. Why should this matter to you? Well, we've heard why it should matter. Millions of our embryonic neighbors unnecessarily are being led to slaughter every year by IVF and assisted reproductive technologies. And
notice how he uses a lot of like dramatic synonyms. So he doesn't say, I don't know, they're like having an abortion or they're getting rid of whatever. He says they're being led to slaughter.
Mm-hmm.
He's dramatizing it on purpose to make it sound like some evil act, like a genocide. That's what he's trying to make it sound like.
Yep, that's propaganda, baby. That's how it works. The IVF issue specifically, if anybody is unfamiliar with this, is a really weird kind of hill for Christian nationalists to die on, because it helps people have children who otherwise would not be able to. You take the cells from the father, the cells from the mother, and you put them in a petri dish, and you leave them be for like 3 days, and you end up with like 12 embryos, literally 2 cells, that's it, that have merged into one. And you freeze those 12 cells, those 12 embryos, and you implant one after another until the parents are basically done having children. It helps people have children when they couldn't otherwise. And he's saying that this is murder, because when you have had all of the children that you want to have, you get rid of these literal cells that are so small that they're smaller than the human eye can see. He says that this is murder. IVF. This is insane. And he went on this whole tirade over it. It's wild.
Countless others are cryo-incarcerated in frozen prisons.
He literally just said that cells, like single cells, are cryo-incarcerated in frozen prisons.
We are creating cryo-orphans for the sake of biological offspring. Saints, our longing to bear children with our own DNA must not lead us to treat our embryos in a way that God forbids. Is your longing to bear children in your own image leading you to flirt with means of procreation that fail to uphold the sacredness of human life?
I'm sorry. Just one quick thing I got to point out here. The Bible is in favor of abortion. Okay, it said you should get an abortion if, for example, your wife cheats on you. Numbers 5:11-23. You find out your wife cheats on you, you take her to the priest, you pay him, he gives you this concoction he calls bitter water that's a mix of different things, dirt off the floor and water, so on and so forth. She drinks it, and if it's not yours, the baby is aborted. That is in the Bible. You cannot dispute that. Where did you get this idea that God doesn't want abortion or whatever? You want more than just that? The Old Testament outlines when it's considered murder. Like when, a woman, if somebody hurts a woman who is pregnant, at what point is it considered an additional charge? Because she loses the baby or whatever. At what point is that an additional charge? It's not at conception. I don't remember where, like 4 months or 5 months or something. I have no idea. You're going to have to look that one up. But it's not a conception. The Bible at no point ever indicates that conception is where life starts. This is right out of his head. That's where this is from. So what he said here, one more time.
Must not lead us to treat our embryos in a way that God forbids.
God forbids? Where are you getting that? Where did you hear that? Who told you that? It's completely made up.
I don't think the Bible mentions IVF even once. I don't think it physically could have.
No,
I don't think God cares about IVF, people wanting to have children. And if wanting to have children who look like you is so terrible, I really hope he adopted.
Yeah, well, I hope he didn't adopt at all. I hope he doesn't have any children, to be perfectly frank.
I hope for the sake of his argument, he would be willing to adopt if he ever wanted a child.
He's a Christian nationalist. My bet would be that he has like 16 children.
Is your longing to bear children in your own image leading you to flirt with means of procreation that fail to uphold the sacredness of human life?
Yes.
That would lead these embryos or your children to death or a freezer, or deliver them up to destructive experimentation.
this destructive experimentation. Like, what are you even talking about? It's delusion. And the whole basis of this belief, all of it, the underlying infrastructure about how life begins at conception is completely made up. Not in the Bible anywhere. The whole basis for his beliefs is from a verse in, I think, maybe Jeremiah, where it says, I knew you when you were in your mother's womb. It was talking about prophets of God, people who have the special unique ability to communicate directly with God, of whom there have only ever been a few in the Bible. There were only ever a few people. This is not like, everybody. And the lore goes, God knows all of the prophets' names, like before they're born and after they die. It's like a list. And Dusty Devers takes that to mean that life begins at conception. It's just delusion. It's pure, unadulterated delusion.
Name of science. If discontentment is driving you to accept the destruction or freezing of your own embryonic children, you are waging an assault against God, your Creator. And you're doing it through His image bearers. Is He not better than 10,000 children who look like you and carry your DNA? He is.
Anyway, this guy is broken inside, straight up broken. And it is maybe one of the most disturbing things ever to know that he is in Congress and that he has any kind of influence. And on top of all of it, that he thinks that the idea of separation of church and state is blasphemous. That is wild. Tell me what you think in the comments.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. I just came across this rap from these kids at this church.
It's a demon that's inside of you. You ain't born that way, don't let it try to lie to you.
In case you can't understand and you're listening, not watching, it's a bunch of kids on a stage, I believe, at a church that are singing, "You're not gay, it's a demon inside of you, don't let it lie to you."
Demons are by faith, hope you find the truth. I'm exposing these demons that try to hide in you. Pride stands for the land of the pig, where they like to be trans and start playing with some kids.
This is fucking vile, dude. Pride stands for the land of the pigs, where they like to be trans and start playing with some kids.
That bathroom's for girls, so we can't let you in. Steve, you ain't fooling no one. You're just a man in a way. You're not gay, more like insane. Being gay is fun and dandy till you get AIDS.
Being gay is fine and dandy till you get AIDS. How fucking disgusting is that shit? Like, how vile and evil and wrong is this?
I just speak the truth and I don't care about gay rights. I can tell the left is mad cause my dad raised me right.
My dad raised me right. We'll come back to that in just a second.
You think you a woman cause you rocking the stiletto? Don't make me get my airsoft, I'm knocking off a pet.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan. #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Literally encouraging killing people. He said, I'm going to get my airsoft and knock off a... How f***ed up is that?
All y'all gonna be burning like the rich man. You are not a woman, just a dude with some implants.
Something that people have known about for many, many years, like centuries, is if you get your hooks in children, you change the culture. That's why Hitler started the Hitler Youth, because he knew if he could brainwash an entire generation of children to be his sycophantic followers, he would never have to struggle for control ever again. And these people right here, this is, if you don't know these people, this is Flashpoint. It's a TV show that's basically like, it's just a pro-Trump TV show. Used to be on Kenneth Copeland's TV network, the Victory Channel. It's not on there anymore. I think they're solo now, but They kind of like lay out the whole bit pretty clearly for us.
You know, when we look back on Hitler, Hitler went for the youth. The enemy always goes for the youth. We must take up arms and go for our youth, arms of the truth and of godly principles. But
he had him on because he was basically because Hank Kunneman wrote comics for children, like pro-Trump comics and stuff. Anyway, they call themselves the enemy openly at this point, right? I mean, it couldn't be clearer. They recognize themselves as the enemy, quote unquote, as they call it.
Take up arms and go for our youth, arms of the truth and of godly principles. But
just disgusting, dude. Disgusting. An entire generation of children was lost to far-right extremism in Germany all the way back then. And now we see MAGA using the exact same playbook. I mean, it's kind of intuitive that you would want to brainwash children as early as humanly possible. But I'm telling you that somebody at the White House or whatever, somebody is sitting there reading a history book and figuring out exactly how Hitler did this. And they're copying him. Somebody is reading a history book and copying. Here's another example of them like just straight up lying. The far right is obsessed with claiming that it's the left that's doing this, that's brainwashing children, when we just saw a clear as day example of children being brainwashed, right?
There have been recent reports of an administrator in an Oklahoma school that's a drag queen. So we have a drag queen allegedly.
Notice the word allegedly there. He's a superintendent of all Oklahoma schools, and this is just a lie. It's just a lie. And anyway, why do you care what people do in their own personal life? It's their own business. It's their own thing. It's not your problem, not your business. And he's lying and pretending that there's a quote-unquote drag queen that works in the schools. You know, and I know, that he would have outed this person in this video if there had actually really been somebody, some kind like a drag queen or whatever.
Running one of our schools here in Oklahoma. This is completely unacceptable.
Wow, running a school. So it's not just like an employee of a school. It's an administrator at the school in his mind. Completely made up.
We know that radical gender theory has been a direct assault on our kids, and we can't allow this in our schools. Our schools have to do a better job of ensuring their hiring process ensures that their personnel match Oklahoma values. No parent wants to send their kid to school knowing that they could be exposed to this radical gender theory in any capacity. This woke war on our kids has to stop. We will not allow it in Oklahoma. This is the liberal insanity that every parent wants out of the classroom.
People literally claiming that children are being brainwashed while brainwashing children. Here's another clip from Ryan Walters.
And they actually prefer to push books like the Constitution and the Bible out of our schools while injecting books like Genderqueer and Flamer. It's outrageous. They are Marxists at their core. That
Who is they? Are they in the room with us right now, Ryan?
Is their fundamental principles in which that guides them. And we are tired of them intimidating teachers, fighting school choice, and fighting parents. And we are absolutely going to fight back here.
Just disgusting, dude. These people are absolutely vile, disgusting human beings. Here's another.
We have a drag queen principal of one of our schools who has now hired another drag queen to work inside our schools. This is what...
And for some reason, you're not, like, telling us who it is, huh? This is the guy that hired Shia Raichik, Libs of TikTok, to work on some advisory board or whatever. You know, the woman famous for stochastic terrorism, for inspiring bomb threats on children's hospitals and stuff. That person, yeah. And you're not going to tell us who it is, huh?
Joe Biden wants for our schools, folks. Well, I have demanded that individual be fired. No drag queen should be running a school anywhere in this country, especially in Oklahoma. The Supreme Court has been wrong. There is no separation of church and state in the Constitution or Declaration of Independence. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, every time somebody says this, I always respond with this. Separation of church and state, the phrase, is not in the Constitution, and neither is the phrase gun rights. So you can say separation of church and state isn't in there, and I will correctly say gun rights aren't in there either.
So we will bring God back to schools and prayer back in schools in Oklahoma, and we will fight back against that radical myth.
The problem is that there is no, what's the word I'm looking for here? There is no moral consistency to be found. They don't have any moral consistency. These people don't. They're more than willing to brainwash children to the point that they're willing to say things like this.
And I don't care about gay rights. I can tell the left is mad cause my dad raised me right. You think you a woman cause you rocking a stiletto? Don't make me get my airsoft, I'm knocking off a pedo.
Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. They are literally producing this while complaining about children being brainwashed. Where is the moral consistency? There is none. They're hypocrites. They're scumbags. And they're willing to do literally whatever it takes to destroy people's lives. We need to push back against this as hard as we possibly can. This is insane. Out of curiosity, let's look at some of the comments. This is a subreddit called Lies, r/lies. So everything that you see on here is a lie. Intentionally. So like if they want to criticize this, then they'll say something positive about it. Wow, it's a very rational, intelligent video based in reality, that kind of thing. So let's see what they said on Lies. /UL means unlie, I think, and it means they're telling the truth. Unlie, y'all gonna be burning like the rich man. I wonder who their parents voted for. Such talented young artists, says this person. Very depressing seeing such small children sing that. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm the devil, and yes, making people gay is indeed my top priority. My entire plan is to destroy humanity, specifically depends on turning people gay. Issues like wars, poverty, intolerance, and all the other things that kill innocent people every day are completely out of my plans, because the only way I can actually destroy humanity is by making everyone gay. Including but not limited to the frogs, right? Including but not limited to the frogs. It's not sad seeing children indoctrinated into hatred at such a young age like this at all. These kids are not little dumbasses. Their parents are not coercing them into doing this. Absolutely insane. Really sad. Tell me what you think in the comments.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Apparently, Florida has ended vaccine mandates. I want to talk about Joseph Ladapo, I believe is his name, the Surgeon General of Florida. I actually have a ton of videos from this dude. You would not believe the insane shit he believes. Check this out.
Florida made a major MAHA announcement today. Watch.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them.
Governor, the left, Democrats, public health advocates, many of them are going absolutely crazy over this.
Yeah, because you're a moron, because you're literally getting more people killed. Like, I don't like insulting people, but this is dumb as dog shit. So let's talk about Ladapo, that dude that was just on screen. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sherry Tenpenny, but this is her on the left, and we got Ladapo here on the right. Listen to this.
There's something special about people who were willing to stand up for what they believed was right, even when everyone around them was saying otherwise.
By the way, this video is from late October 2022.
There's something very special about that. And there's also something very inspiring about that. And you're one of those people. People who did that are the reason why there are more people today who are standing up and saying things that aren't fitting in with mainstream narratives.
So that's Joseph Ladapo expressing his support for Sherry Tenpenny. Now, who is Sherry Tenpenny, I hear you asking? Well, let me show you. This is Sherry Tenpenny in early April 2022, about 2 years after COVID seriously hit, and she's about to give us a prediction.
The more shots you get, the more you destroy your immune system, and the faster that happens.
Oh boy, that's not good. I think I had like 3.
And it's anticipated, the German data says that by the end of 2022, every fully vaccinated person over the age of 30 may have the equivalent of full-blown vaccine-induced immune-suppressed AIDS.
Oh my God, dude. I swear, there is maybe nothing I enjoy more on this earth than listening to fools make false predictions like this. Do you guys remember this video? I was over 30 at the end of 2022, and I was fully vaccinated, and look at me now. I don't have immune-suppressed AIDS. And just in case you're unfamiliar with Sherry Tenpenny, let me just take it one additional step. Do you remember that whole the vaccine magnetizes you bit?
Because right now we're all kind of hypothesizing. I mean, what is it that's actually being transmitted that's causing all of these things? Is
It's COVID? You think maybe it could be COVID? Is that a possibility?
it a combination of the protein, which now we're finding has a metal attached to it? I'm sure you've seen the pictures all over the internet of people who've had these shots and now they're magnetized. They can put a key on their forehead, it sticks. They can put spoons and forks all over them and they can stick.
Sadly, no. I would love that, but no, metal things don't stick to me. You know she has a medical degree? An actual, real, legit medical degree, this woman does?
Because now we think that there's a metal piece to that. There's been people who've long suspected that there was some sort of an interface, yet to be defined. An
interface. Like they're going to be able to take control of our bodies like Avatar or something and force us to do stuff. This ambiguous, evil they.
Interface between what's being injected in these shots and all of the 5G towers. Not proven yet, but we're trying to figure out what is it that's being transmitted to these unvaccinated people that are causing health problems.
Nothing. The answer was nothing. This is just a complete fictitious lie. So let's circle back around now. After having listened to Sherry Tenpenny spout off all that nonsense. Oh, she has a lot more too, but I have limited time. Circle back around to the guy that just ended vaccine mandates in Florida.
There's something special about people who were willing to stand up for what they believed was right, even when everyone around them was saying otherwise. There's something very special about that. And
there's something special about Sherry Tenpenny. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm in. You're right. She is special. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
There's also something very inspiring about that, and you're one of those people. People who did that are the reason why there are more people today who are standing up and saying things that aren't fitting in with mainstream narratives.
These people are absurd human beings. It is an embarrassment. And now we have Florida ending vaccine mandates. That is dumb as dog shit. We already had a measles outbreak in the United States. We already had COVID circulating. People still getting COVID. Dark Matter 2525 just got COVID recently and got really, really sick from it. Check out some of these comments here. Florida's Surgeon General, a physician who also holds a PhD, actually said, "Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here? Or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what to do with your body? Sir, you are a fucking doctor. Your MD and PhD qualifies you to tell people what is best for their health. You absolute bell end." He should have his medical degree revoked or whatever. He should certainly be kicked off of the board of physicians or whatever else. He should not be allowed to practice medicine while breaking his Hippocratic oath. I'll let 1 million children die of measles before I let some libtard doctor tell me what to do. It's honestly terribly sad how completely gone these people's heads are. There's nothing left in there. Stop voting for stupid people, says this person. That's a good image. Well, here comes a higher chance of outbreaks from illnesses that aren't all that common because of vaccines, right? Oh my God. I would never live there to begin with, but if I did, I'd be getting the F out fast. 100%. These uneducated idiots have no idea how bad these diseases were before vaccines were invented. Hope they enjoy their sickness and death. They are breeding super spreaders. If things really did get that bad, the entire continent would be paying for it. There is no escape. Absolutely. That's nuts. Tell me your thoughts.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. There are some MAGA dummies running around right now. I don't like insulting people. I'm calling them dummies because it's less offensive than dumb as dogs.
Like the lollipops, dummies.
Yes, like the lollipops. Anyway, let's listen to what this woman here has to say. She just like completely fabricates things right off the top of her head.
So my president, Trump, my president. I love him.
I wonder if he's her president. I can't tell.
She feels like he might be a little bit more than just president.
Just signs into law.
He doesn't sign things into law. He's the president.
She doesn't know that.
He signs executive orders. I guess things go through Congress, and if they pass the House and then the Senate, then he signs it into law or vetoes it. I suppose there's that. But nope, literally none of this process is true, what she's outlining here. Okay.
MAGA doesn't... I've noticed a lot of MAGA don't even know the three branches of government. You can't really expect them to know whether or not...
They know literally nothing, except for that Trump is like Jesus, basically. All right, so tell me what he signed into law.
Into law that families making less than $120,000 a year, which is the majority of families in the United States, will now not have to file taxes.
No.
That's also not how any of that works.
Nope. Just completely made up. Everybody files taxes. Even nonprofit organizations who are tax exempt file taxes. They don't pay taxes, but they file reports and send it to the IRS to show what they spent their money on and stuff like that. Everybody files. This is just completely made up. Not only did he make it so people don't have to file, he didn't do that, but he also did not exempt people who make under $120,000 a year. This is just fabricated out of the ether completely.
Where does she find her information? I'm curious where MAGA finds their information because, you know, someone will say something and then it spreads, but how did that very first person come up with this idea? Because I haven't even seen Fox News say something as crazy as this. Where did this idea come from?
Let's find out. Let's ask the electric internet machine here. I'm not sure.
Someone said Twitter, but where did that person get it from? Where does the first person get this, like, crazy idea from? And do they know that it's crazy, or did they see something and misinterpret it, and it just goes down the line, and, like...
Most of the time, these claims come from Telegram, or they come from places like The Federalist, which is like an insane right-wing extremist nutcase, like, paper, if you could even call it a newspaper. I certainly don't. It was the wrong income thresholds. And all of the sources that I'm finding here, like, I'm not really trusting any of these sources. Smart Asset reported on it. Bankrate reported on it. I'm not seeing anything from, like, Reuters or AP News, who I trust reasonably well. Newsweek is reporting on it. They're not really top tier either. But I'm just looking through here. The proposal to remove taxes for people earning less than $150,000 a year would impact the vast majority of Americans. And by the way, this would be bad if this happened because the government would have even less money. What do you think we're going to do with this $37 trillion debt that we have?
Right.
How are we going to pay that? We need taxes to function as a society.
Someone said it's like a game of telephone. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. Someone says something slightly different, slightly dramatized, and then we go down the line.
It says here, the House of Representatives approved a Republican budget resolution in February that included $4.5 trillion in tax cuts and $2 trillion in spending reductions over the next decade. It will now face a Senate vote. When is this written? This is written March 13th, 2025. This is old. This video that we're talking about is from September, so I'm not sure like what she's even talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have no clue what she's even going on about. Like, none of this is accurate in any way, shape, or form. Am I missing something?
They will not have to pay federal taxes. They will not have to get a tax refund at the end of the year because they loaned the government their money.
That is true. That's how it works. But none of this is accurate anyway.
My president signed that in, and I just cannot wait. I cannot wait for you crazy blue people.
I guess that's me. Is that me?
I have always been a blue person. Blue hair, blue eyes. I might as well tattoo my skin blue.
Play Eiffel 65. You don't know that song, do you? Blue by Eiffel 65?
I don't. I'm uncultured, sorry.
Blue da ba dee da. No?
Oh my god, I do know that.
Yeah, that one. Maybe I'll stick in a 3-second clip of the song because maybe that'll slip past censors.
To be pissed about it. I can't wait for you to be pissed about the fact that our president, my president, our president.
You said our first.
I was sorry. I was thinking her accent sounds familiar. She's Appalachian. Appalachian Queen is her username.
Okay, there you go.
That's so stupid.
Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
Isn't going to take your money anymore. I'm sure you're going to be up in arms about how much more money you're making because you're not lending it to the federal government. I can't wait for the psychotic breakdowns that are going to happen when people realize that he's actually helping them and they have to admit it. I love this country and I love my president.
I cannot wait for her to get to the end of the year to get her taxes back and realize that she did in fact have to file them and now she's in a lot of serious trouble.
It's just really, really, really sad. Now, assuming that everything that she said was true, which it wasn't at all, but let's just play the game for a moment. If it were true that he eliminated taxes for people to make under $120,000 a year, I would be unhappy about that because we have a $37 trillion debt. We should dramatically reduce taxes for, or maybe even eliminate it for people under 50,000 or 70,000 or so. I don't know. That's something we can talk about, but we should shoot it through the roof for people who make over, say, 500,000 a year. For people that make $1 million a year, they should be paying 90%. This is what it was in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 50s. It was insanely high because that's how a functioning society operates. People pay their fair share, and high taxes on high earners keeps things slightly more equal. Capitalism only works when regulated. And right now, it's completely unregulated, practically. Anyway, it's just sad, man, for real. It's sad. And I don't know how to get through to these people. I don't know what they're smoking or how to get them into rehab for it or whatever. I don't know.
We can't.
We got to do something, man, for real. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments.
That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon.
I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they worked together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon.
Okay, thanks for watching, guys.